My name is Ryan, and the summer of 1986 is the year I learned that some places don't forget. Camp Bloodline didn't show up on any official map. You had to know someone who knew someone. A faded flyer, a handwritten phone number, directions that ended with, "Turn when the pavement stops." The pavement stopped 12 miles earlier than I expected. The gravel road that followed cut through thick Mississippi pine forest, the trees leaning inward like they were listening. Dust coated my windshield. The radio faded into static. Then I saw the sign. Camp Bloodline. Established 1959. The wood was warped from years of rain. Beneath the painted letters, something else had been carved deep into the grain. Stay on land. I told myself it was a prank, summer camp kids being dramatic. I wish that had been true. The lake was the first thing that felt wrong. It sat beyond the cabins, stretching wide and dark, beneath the afternoon sun. No sparkle, no movement, just a flat sheet of black-green water reflecting the sky too perfectly. Like glass, like an eye. Beautiful, isn't it? I turned to see Cassidy walking toward me, neon shorts, on a whistle around her neck, big 80s hair that didn't move, even in the breeze. Yeah, I lied. She followed my gaze to the lake. Her smile faded just slightly. "Rule number 1, she said quietly. "Nobody goes on the dock after dark." "Why?" She hesitated. "You'll hear about it," she said. "Everyone does." Orientation that night was brief. Mr. Mercer, the head counselor, stood in front of us in the rec hall, clipboard in hand, tall, calm, controlled. "Buddy system," he said. "No fires after 10, no swimming after dusk, and no one sets foot on that dock once the sun goes down." His voice tightened on that last part. A counselor in the back laughed nervously. "What? Lake monster?" No one else laughed. Mr. Mercer stared at him until the room went silent. "It's not safe," he said, and somehow that felt worse than a joke. Cabin 7 had 12 girls, ages 10 to 12. Lila was the quietest, brown hair cut just above her shoulders, watched more than she spoke. She had this habit of staring at the lake during free time, like she was trying to hear something the rest of us couldn't. The first night passed normally. Campfire songs, roasted marshmallows, kids whispering long after lights out. I must have fallen asleep sometime after midnight. At exactly 1:13 a.m., the cabin door creaked open. I sat up. Moonlight spilled across the wooden floor. Lila stood near the doorway. Her eyes were open, but she wasn't awake. "Lila," I whispered. No response. She stepped outside. I followed, heart thudding in my chest. The night air felt heavier than before, cooler, damp. Lila walked straight toward the lake. "1," she whispered. The word barely carried on the breeze. I froze. "Lila," I said louder. She kept walking. 2. Her voice was flat, not scared, not excited, just counting. I grabbed her shoulders and turned her toward me. Her skin was freezing cold. The second I pulled her away from the path, she gasped like someone breaking the surface of water. Tears filled her eyes. "Why'd you wake me up?" she sobbed. "You were sleepwalking," I said. She shook her head slowly. "I was dreaming," she whispered. "About what?" She hesitated. "The lake. The next day was normal, too normal. Swimming lessons stayed in the shallow end. Canoes never went far from shore." Mr. Mercer watched the water constantly, like he was waiting for it to blink. At lunch, Lila dropped her spoon. She stared at the floor, then quietly said, 4. Cassidy looked at her. "What?" Lila blinked, confused. "What?" That night, it wasn't just Lila. At 1:13 a.m., 3 girls stood up at once. Lila, Brooke, Hannah. Their movements were perfectly synchronized. "1, Lila said. 2, Brooke followed. 3, Hannah whispered. They walked in a straight line toward the door. Cassidy was already awake beside me. "No," she breathed. We moved fast. Outside, the lake looked darker than the sky. 4, 5. They didn't look scared. They looked peaceful, like they were going somewhere they'd always meant to go. Cassidy grabbed Brooke and spun her gently, whispering her name over and over. Hannah stumbled when I stepped in front of her. But Lila slipped past both of us. Her bare feet hit the dirt path leading to the dock. 6. The air shifted, like pressure building before a storm. I ran. The dock creaked under Lila's weight. She stepped onto it, slowly, deliberately. 7. The water rippled, not from wind, from beneath. "Lila," I shouted. She didn't turn. 8. The lake bulged slightly at the center, like something massive had rolled just below the surface. My legs felt heavy, like the air itself was resisting me. "Lila, stop." 9. She turned then, and smiled. It wasn't her smile. Her eyes were darker than they should have been, almost reflective, like the lake was looking out through them. 10, she whispered. And she jumped. There wasn't a splash. There should have been a splash. Instead, the water swallowed her cleanly, silently, like a mouth closing. For half a second, I saw something pale twist under the surface. Not a fish, not a log. Something long, something coiled. Then the lake went flat again. Still, perfect, like nothing had happened. I ran onto the dock, staring into the dark water. "Lila," I screamed. Nothing answered. Cassidy grabbed my arm and pulled me back. "Don't," she whispered. "Don't go in." Mr. Mercer was already there. He didn't look surprised. He didn't look shocked. He looked tired. "Get the girls inside," he said quietly. "What was that?" I demanded. Mr. Mercer stared at the lake. "It counts down," he said. "What does that mean?" "It means she reached 10. The forest was silent. No crickets, no wind, just that lake, waiting. I didn't sleep the rest of the night. Because as I lay in my bunk, staring at the ceiling, I heard it. Soft, close, barely a whisper. 1. And this time, it was my voice.
Before you go, hit the subscribe button. New scary stories dropped every Saturday. If you're a fan of terrifying tales, turn on notifications. And tell me in the comments, what should the next nightmare be about?